Hello, beautiful people. This is my timed run of 20 NPX on my Blood Death Knight. My name is Kyle. Here's my route, my stats, my talents, all those things. I forgot to mute my mic too, so we might get some. I'm watching this back for the first time as well, so we might hear some interesting comms because I forgot to mute my mic when I was recording this. So you might be hearing some crazy stuff. But for this dungeon, this was our second run. Super solid group. The first pull, this dungeon is a bullet hell. You're literally just constantly going. And so we're starting off with a really big first pull. You see, I belt because I'm an engineer. I'm grabbing all these bad boys, trying to get away because I want to grab them and then run because I don't want them to melee me from the back. This pool is demonic. I mean, there's no other way to say it. This pool is straight up demonic. Like, this is insane. This is an insane pool. I hear my buttons clacking a lot, so I'm going to turn down the audio just a little bit on this video. I popped my perg here. Again, this is a big pool. This is a hard pool. I thought I would die there. You just have to game. What's there to watch out for in this pool? There's 2 interrupts that you can be on the lookout for. Let me get rid of that. There's 2 interrupts you can be on the lookout for. A cast, big AoE cast, and a single target bolts. Besides that, there's just lots of AoE damage here. There is lots of AoE damage. Just be on the lookout for that healers. I think that's mainly a you thing, so just be aware of that. There's lots of AoE damage going on here. Next pool, just simple gather. Another big pool into big pool. Again, this pool, you're not going to have as much AoE damage go out. Praise the Lord. But you will have interrupts and your Arcanists. You see that Corewright Arcanist there? They will do big AoE like that Arcane Explosion. You want to interrupt that as fast as you can because that does your AoE damage. So just be on the lookout for that. But this pull after that, not that scary. There's an interrupt and there's going to be mana batteries that drop. And if you don't kill these batteries, they'll kill you. So you have to just kill the mana batteries. It can be annoying, but they die quick, so it shouldn't be an issue. Although I will add, I have been in groups where we haven't killed the mana batteries and that has ruined our run. Yeah, but yeah, that's this pool. This pool is also big. This is a big pool. You see there's an Adept, there's an Arcanist, and then we go up and get these 2 Arcanists with the Seer. Huge pool again. And so why do you do this? You're in a 20. You have to have big pool after big pool. Unless damage is pumping, you can take it smaller. But at this point of the season, I don't know if that's a reality. Maybe it is. As you can see, there's 2 Arcanists casting there. I Blinding Sleet to interrupt them. And we're just gaming. What's scary in this pool? The Circuit Seer, which just does natural AoE damage to everyone. And there's 3 Arcanists who cast the AoE Arcane Explosion that you just want to get rid of. As well as there's a Seer that does a bolt that you want to interrupt as well. So, I mean, we handled this pool very good, very well. This is a very good pool. But doesn't take away from how scary this pool can be. You have the mana batteries. As you see, I check the healer's mana. I see that they're good and I just pull. We're gaming. I mean, spoiler alert, we timed this, but man, we are gaming here. We are going. Mana is good. So if mana is good on that, I definitely recommend you pull into the boss. You can just pull the boss on top of the mana batteries and just GG fight. Honestly, that's my best recommendation for that. This boss is so annoying because as you see lines come up, you have to get the debuff to remove the lines. And the lines can ruin you. You also want to bait this ability called Core Fiend, Core Spark Destination or something like that. You want to bait that in corners because it leaves a big area of denial that you can't use. So always try your best to bait these in corners. Here's what I do. Oh, I accidentally pulled up my housing. It's G to res, and I was like, I am on. I think I think I say something funny at the very end of the time is. Where are we at? So there's this boss. There's lines that have to be broken with the reflex charge. Random DPS will get targeted and leave small orbs like that on the ground, as well as the Core Spark Destination, where you want to kind of bait that towards the edges of the room because that leaves a big area of denial. Here's what I do as tank, and here's what I would, if you're a tank tanking this, here's how I recommend you tank this. Tank the boss near lines and only move when you got to move to a line. So as you see, I see there's AoE on the ground. I'm trying to move so DPS still have a good position on the boss, and I'm taking it near a line, and he should break these 2 beams next to me. Your goal should be, this is not bad positioning. There's lots of room here. So your goal is to kind of set your DPS up for success here as tank. You want to move as much as you can into open spaces where you'll be free and your DPS has room to move. You want to bait circles and you want to bait Core Spark detonations. That said, there's a lot of moving on this boss. You're going to have to move. There's lots of sometimes you'll be in rough situations where you can't move the best, or the boss will be in unfavorable position. That happens. This will happen on this boss. That is nothing to be worried about. I see tanks say like, well, what's the perfect positioning? Brother in Christ, that really wholly depends on your DPS. So DPS is going to drop circles everywhere, like you see right there. They're going to maybe not bait the Core Spark Detonation correctly. So you can't control what they do as a tank, right? But what you can control is where you tank the boss and how you set up the boss. So pro tips for this one, move away from puddles on the ground and move to the most open area where your DPS can move around freely. That's it for this boss. Well, TLDR, you're moving a lot. I mean, you're just going to do that, right? Like, you're just moving a lot. It's not a big deal. You're going to move a lot. We got it. Be careful also. There's circles that can spawn on you when you're clicking this console, and it can stun you. So be very careful. There it is. Yeah, that was like terrible lines too. We were 10 seconds lower than last run. I don't know if you guys heard me say that. I had my mic on, but yeah, we were 10 seconds slower. Again, demonic pool number 3000 coming. You grab those guys, a big pool coming here. Get the Cursed Voidwalker, the Herald, the Nullifier. We also grab this Herald, I think they're called here. Null Sentinels. Whew, I'm like stressed out watching this. Here we go. Let's go. Part 2,000,007. Big pools. What to watch out for here? So this Null Sentinel will target you with a blast. That's just big single target line you want to watch out for. And that Herald will do big. Herald. Okay, sorry. That Herald will pull, or he pulses big AoE damage. So there's a single big AoE blast. There's AoE damage. There's Entropic Leech that he'll put on a player. He'll cast on them. It's like a healing absorb. That has to be big healed, and you have to pop a defensive on that. And there's lots of tank damage going out. There's a nullify. So that's all that's happening in this pool. Big AoE, bolts, big single target AoE on the tank, or big single target on the tank. And the little smudges that spawn. Now these smudges, if they reach the guy, they'll revive him. And that's because that's extra percentage. That's an extra mob. You don't want that. My philosophy Mythic Plus, you never want to be just fighting one target. So we go to Demonic Pool 7. And we grab all these guys. The Null Sentinel. This pool's not as scary, to be honest with you. You have 2 Grand Nullifiers and a Sentinel. So what's scary about this pool? You have a big, I pod it here because this is a big pool. You have the Null Sentinel, which will do the kind of like targeted thing at you. Or the big AoE damage, excuse me. And then you have 2 Nullifiers, which will cast a bolt on you. So this pool, interrupt the bolts. And you have big AoE damage coming out, as well as the skinny boys, like the skinny ghost or whatever there are. They are going to attach onto a mob and give them a shield. You can CC them off. You can stun them. You can soft CC them off. It just gives them a shield, and you want to avoid that. This pool goes down pretty quickly, as you can see. This is a demonic pool, yes, but less of that, less of so. I start kiting, and the reason I don't go all the way here is because this will spawn smudges, and I've seen it before where we start kiting away and there's smudges pull. Here's another big pull, 47. We grab everything here, and then we also grab the Dread Flail up here as well. What's you'll notice there's a running theme with this dungeon and the mobs on this side. But what's going on here? What do we need to watch out for in this pool? The Herald does the Dark Beckoning, which is the big AoE damage that you can see right there. You have Grand Nullifiers to interrupt their bolts, as well. So Dread Flail will do that big AoE like that, and you just want to run out of it and not get hit by that. So you're interrupting, you're running, you're killing smudges, and you're avoiding AoE. Simple, right? And that's what you do for this pool. Again, nothing more to really add to that. Dodge AoEs on the ground. If you're also tank, here's a big note. The Dread Flails do have a frontal cone that they do just from their melee attacks. So it's not telegraphed, but when they melee attack you, it is a frontal. So you want to be aware of that. So make sure you have those Dread Flails pointed not at your group. Kind of tank them away. This is small pool. I mean, this is the kind of pool. This is what you call a cooldown pool. This is your, okay, we've been blasting. Let's just take a second to breathe in because we're going right back into blasting after this. This is our relaxed pool. We have a Herald who's doing big AoE. Again, just avoid that. Avoid lines on the ground. The Hollow Soul Scroungers, like I said, they'll attach themselves like a leech to someone. Get that off. Soft CC them off if you see a shield. And they're smudges. Entropic Leeches from the Herald as well. Death Knights can AMS and you Death Strike through that as well to get that Healing Absorb removed. As you can see, I stunned a Hollow Soul Scrounger. And once I notice the Herald is dead, we go into the next pool. I should have gone to the next pool sooner than this. So, Kyle, I can chain earlier than that. So we grab these. This guy's actually bugged. Look at this. Thank you, Blizzard. So that is bugged. Sorry that guy got aggro because I was trying to worry about it bugged. But we're not going to worry about it. We'll just go into next. And we'll chain the Scroungers in with this Lingering Image. So this pool is not really too bad. What we have to watch out for is AoE on the ground like usual. There's 2 Nullifiers. So you want to cast, or excuse me, you want to interrupt those cast. And the Lingering Image will do a Searing Rend frontal on the tank that moves you, as well as big AoE down like that. That's the only thing going on in this pool. Also, this dungeon was super bugged. That Grand Nullifier, they're stunned. They're interrupted, but it's showing that they're not. I use default nameplates with a Platinator, but I use like the default setting. I even say like that mob is bugged. I think that's going to throw us off count, but you know, we end up fine. Yeah, this is just terrible. I tried to grab him before the next run, but I'm not going to waste too much time with that. Like, I'm just going to keep going because we have a good run here. So my mentality is this is not going well, or this is going well. That mob is bugged, but I'm not going to throw a run over one bugged mob. I'm just going to keep on playing to the dungeon, keep on playing out. Worst comes to worst, and you'll see this. we just have to grab an extra those flying boys at the end. You'll see them. The insects or whatever. We just have to grab an extra pack of that. Whatever. But before this boss spawns, he spawns 2 waves of ads. You just kill the ads. It's a herald for the first group, a nullifier, and 2 scroungers. Nothing crazy. The only thing that can get crazy on this part that I've seen some tanks like struggle with is these guys spawn randomly. I'm letting them know I will AMZ first, and I spam it. It's a pug. You're not in comms. I don't want us to overlap, but I'm getting ahead. The only thing I can see an issue here is these mobs spawn randomly, so DPS can get whacked by these guys. So you'll notice what I did there is I D&D'd the group. So as mobs go to my group, they're going to get my D&D, and I'll just grab aggro like that, instead of me running around with my head cut off trying to grab all the mobs. It's an easier way. So again, if you're a tank for parts like that, for this part specifically, try to stack with your group, and then those scroungers will come to your group first. Thunderclap, AoE, Blood Boil, Death and Decay, whatever, Rake, whatever it's called for Guardian Druids, Spinning Crane Kick. Just do that on your group, and then you can move out. That way you have the aggro, your people don't get hit, nothing like that. We make quick work. I noticed the mob is still bugged. I'm just going to leave it alone. I was like, maybe I can get to it. Maybe I'm not. But here we go. This boss is the pug killer, unfortunately. This boss, big DPS phase. This Umbral Lash will knock you back. And it's a big tank buster. Unfortunately, your AMS won't be up. It'll be up like every 2. So what I do here, you want to AMS when the light comes. I'll give you an example of that. But mobs come out, tanks grab mobs, tank them up. Very important piece of information. This Dread Flail will I'm sorry, I'm like watching it too, like, wow, we timed this? Like, this guy died right there? Like, I mean, no one, it's impressive. The healer died and no one else died from that. That is genuinely impressive. That is impressive. Good DPS. This is good DPS here. They know how to use their stuff. But back to that tanks, you want to watch out for that Dread Flail, because that mob, excuse me, has a frontal. You want to be very careful. Now, it's not televised. It's not going to like give you a frontal animation. It's built into their auto attacks. So tanks, do not go into the light with a Dread Flail. Keep the Dread Flail out of position until they're dead. Always keep this Dread Flail pointed away like how it is right now. Here comes the Umbral Leash, the big knockdown, and as you see, we get the light, but I do not go into the light because this Dread Flail is still up and doing the AoE damage. I've seen plenty of groups complain, oh, the tank tanked the Dread Flail and pointed at us. Tanks, you're not making us look good. Do not do that. Keep the Dread Flails pointed out until they're dead, and then join your friends in the light. Another thing I want to note as well on this boss is our DPS play this right. So as you guys, I don't know if you guys caught it because I was talking about the Dread Flail, but that light deals big damage, huge damage to people who are standing in it. And if you get low as a DPS, you should probably not be standing in it because it's going to kill you. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Don't stay in the light on this boss if it's going to kill you. It's never worth. So you'll see my DPS, they'll actually run out of the light if it's getting close to killing them, which is what they should do. So if you're getting low on HP, get out of there. Like you could see our healer jumped out of the light because our warrior jumped out of the light there for a second. You're fine. If you think you're going to die, jump out. Also, I think you used to be able to walk up the middle of that and it's fixed. I could be wrong. I didn't want to sit here and test it on a 20, but you used to be able to walk up the middle right there, and I think it's bugged. It's cool going back and seeing my thought process. This is very timeable. So we'll land and pull these mobs at around 8:45 or 8 or 9, excuse me. And this is super timeable. So if you're in a key, if we time this, pulling these mobs at 9:04 on a 20, and you're doing anything less than that, you have enough time to time it. And I'm lagging here. Look at this. I forgot about this. I'm lagging. This was like, remember a few days ago when I'm recording this, but there's like big server issues. I had that happen right here. It wasn't that bad, but I was lagging. So that's fun. Anyways, big pool here. You have 2 lingering lights. You want to watch out for that because they do the searing rend, the frontal on the tank, the blistering smalt, whatever it's called, on random people, big damn. And they also do the big frontal, this light. So you just want to point it away, get away from it. There's also an Arcanist in this pool as well. So just make sure you interrupt the Arcanist. But again, very scary pool, especially for gathering, for all my tank friends out there. But once you get going, it's not a bad pool. Just the images, you know, the frontals, the big AoEs, and just interrupt the Arcanist. Nothing crazy here. Once that image dies, I actually go to pull the next pack. So I notice we're lower-ish on time, and I want to be chaining. I don't want to fully kill off a pack, runs the next. We need to be chaining here on this point. I'm noticing time, and I mean, spoiler alert, we timed this. That said, we still have to put a little bit glint in our eye, spring in our step. You know, like we're gonna have to move a little bit here. So once this guy dies, or excuse me, once the mobs around him die, I go to pull the next. I go to pull these 2 Lightworks and the Flare Bat as well. And I just keep one of these interrupted. I've seen groups on this part. They CC one of these Lightworks, but if you just stick on one and interrupt one mob, the other DPS, hopefully, interrupt the other one, and that's it. I've said that to people and they're like, oh, you trust your pugs? Well, it is a team game, right? Like if they're pugs or not, it's still a team game, and you have to rely on your team. You rely on your healer to heal, you know, like if you're pugging and you're not in a group together, yeah, trust your DPS to just do stuff. And if they don't, they don't, you know, like it's okay. It's okay. Like rely on your team to play the game. You rely on me to tank. You rely on the healers to heal. You rely on the DPS to do DPS. Especially if you're pugging, just play the game. Rely on them to do the interrupts, do the stuns. A lot of people will snoff, and hey, if you want to snoff, that's up to you. You have the full power to do that. It's a little annoying, but sure, you can do that. You can complain if you want. You can complain while other people perform. I'll leave it out at that. Because as you could tell, I have pugged a lot, and I've had a lot of people like cry about. Anyways, sorry, that's my little soapbox there. So as you can see, that light rot died. So I chained into the next one. I think he gets meleeed here because I lost aggro somehow on this. I was listening for my comms. I said something, but yeah, I'm reviewing this, and that light rot meleeed the shaman. So this should be 4 deaths. That death is on Kyle. That is a way I can improve. I'm not sure how we got aggro. I think he's probably targeting the light rot, but yeah, I should have did better there. But life of the story here for these 2 platforms, you want to chain once the light rot is dead, the caster. Once the caster is dead, you can chain safely. We finish those 2. We pull the boss at 4 minutes and 38 seconds left with Lust. Okay, here you go. It's really cool seeing like my thought process and what I did and my mindset going through this. But yeah, that was these first parts. This boss. Now we have a whole boss here to worry about. This boss, they will drop, he will, or whatever, they will drop like big I'll say reparations, spitting images of himself. So let's make sure you space those out, and then make sure you turn the searing glare or that searing rend away from your group. As well, I try to do a better job here. Since this is an all melee group, more space. Yeah, you want to give your DPS as much space as possible. Here's the 240 on that though. You don't want to consistently be moving the boss. You don't want to always be moving the boss. You want to stand and fight. You don't always want to be moving the boss here, there. Oh, we need to move the boss. Move the boss. No. Get to a point, plant, fight, but then when there's mobs around you or AoE under you, move. So I move the boss to that rend. Here comes circles. I'm going to drop that off, and I should move him just a little bit outside, and we stay here until the next move we have to. This is big. I mean, this maybe it's not for you, but for me, I had to learn that, especially in, I forgot what season, but whatever season the Floodgate was the first time. Stand and fight. Shadowlands gave me a bad mindset where it's like always be kiting. No, stand and fight and only move when you have to. It's just better for your group that way. Right here, I just stay here. These lines are going to go away. We're fine. Look at that. Look how much room we still have. So, all in all about this boss, move the frontal, put the orbs away, and then when he does that spit thing into his clones, you're looking for the clone without horns. So when he does that whole like multiple image thing, you want to just go to find the image that doesn't have horns and interrupt it. That's how you know it's the right image to interrupt, that it's him. There's people who've done like the snowball method with a throw a snowball, and I think there's like a few other ways. But if you're just looking for it, you're not doing nothing crazy, look for an image without any horns and interrupt the hornless image. That's this fight essentially. Stand, fight, move AoE out the ground, give your DPS room to move, and look for the hornless images. Really nothing else here on there. So enjoy the rest of the fight. As we are coming up on timing this, thank you guys for the feedback. Hopefully this was helpful to you in some way. You learned something new that you can apply to your keys, as I do when I look back on these. Thank you guys for tuning in and for learning with me and seeing my mistakes and the ways I can get better. And hopefully that's useful to you. And I'll see you guys on my next key.